And we're back for some Dimir action, this one with the Cathari Remnant, which this is Cascade Voltron. So Cathari Remnant has Cascade, so whenever we cast it, we exile cards from top of our library to exile a card with lower mana cost than it had. And then on the battlefield, it's a 0/1 flyer, but we can pay a pack to regenerate it. So pretty much the gimmick of this deck is we're bouncing our commander a bunch to cascade out a bunch of equipment and other stuff. That's pretty much the gimmick of the deck. Whether or not it's good is... it's more fun than good. It's a silly Cascade's a fun mechanic. I like Cascade a lot, and that's why we're rocking with it. So pretty much the goal is you get a bunch of equipment out and you equip it onto a Remnant and just deal commander damage and then regenerate because it has a built-in protection. So let's go with the card by card. Land is pretty basic dual land stuff. There's nothing too fancy to go over. There's no like fun, unique lands. It's just basic package. And it's intro bouncing so much, we're playing stuff to like get the initiative and Monarch back, so as we're trying playing the Heroic Code and Sneak. I definitely said that wrong. Underdark Explorer and the Vicious Battle Rager, because we can bounce them back a lot. Like if we don't have the bounce for our commander, we can bounce these guys and put them back onto the field, same way we're playing the Monarch, because when the ETB, you get that Monarch or Initiative. And then of course we are on black, so we're playing one Crypt Wrap, so Mana Rock is also pretty basic. We're playing the Border Post, I like this cycle, the Dimir Signet, Commander's Field, Bonner's Ornament, because everyone's playing Bonner's Ornament, and the Arcane Signet, there's another just always play it. And the bounce spells, we have Aether Adept, ETB, return target creature to the owner's hand, Aether Spell, Bomb, an artifact, where you pay a blue, sacrifice it, turn a creature to the owner's hand, or you can sacrifice it to just draw a card. Ancestral Statue, ETB, return a non-land permanent you control to the owner's hand. Arctic Merfolk is a kicker that you return a card to the owner's hand, and if it's played, it gets a 1/1 counter, so it comes in as a 2/2. Not a great card, but we're playing it for the bounce effect. Banishing Knack makes any creature tap to return a target permanent to the owner's hand. Boing makes us return a target permanent to the owner's hand, and then we roll a dice, and then if it's 3 or less, we get a scry equal to the number result. So we get a pretty nice scry out of it, and we get a bounce card. Card or heal, just return target creature to its owner's hand, and then its controller draws a card, and since we're always bouncing our card 90% of the time, we get to draw a card and bounce a card, which is pretty nice. Cavern Harpy, ETB, return a blue or black creature to its owner's hand, and then we pay 1 life to return Cavern Harpy to its owner's hand. So we're going to repeatedly use this with our commander to constantly bounce the 2 of them. Contempt, when an enchanted creature attacks, you can return that creature and Contempt to its owner's hand, so we can attack with the Remnant and just bounce both these cards back to hand to kind of continue doing the same thing. Curfew, each player chooses a creature they control and return it to the hand, so we're always going to choose commander, and it puts everyone else kind of back on tempo. Drown in Shapelessness, just return target to the owner's hand. Escape Route, it's an enchantment, which is probably one of our best bounce spells, just 2 and a blue to return a white or black creature we control to our hand. So since Cathari Remnant is black, we're always going to be able to do that. Force Away, just another bounce spell, and then if we control creature power 4 or greater, we can draw a card and discard a card. Just the Win, it's a return card creature to our hand, and also has manas. I don't think we have any ways. We have like very niche ways to discard, so the mana cost isn't often going to come up, but 2 mana is not too big of a deal. Peel from Reality, another bounce spell, but it'll also bounce someone else's creature to the owner's hand. Retract and Heal It pretty much makes it so any creature we control gains tap it to return target non-land permanent to owner's hand, so we're always going to be casting out our commander and doing it to that most of the time. Run Away Together bounces both one of our creatures and one of the opponents. Seal Removal sacrifices the bounce creature. City's Face Pull, when it exploits a creature, return target to its owner's hand, so we can even do it itself, so it's a 1 mana burn spell technically. I said burn, but I meant to say bounce. Sound the Pouncer, just another bounce spell that also has flashback, so we get to use it twice instead of just once. Snap, another bounce spell that's essentially free since we can untap 2 lands after we do it, which can immediately go back to casting our commander we just bounced. Snap Back, pretty much the exact same thing as Snap, we're going to exile a blue card rather than play the mana cost. Stun the Missile, just another straight bounce card. String of Disappearances, we bounce a card and then we can pay 2 blue to bounce it again because we can copy that spell, so we can kind of keep doing it if we want to. Unexpected Disappearance is another bounce and we surveil 1. Unsummon, just a basic bounce. Vapor Snag is a basic bounce again, but we also lose 1 life. Waterfront Bouncer makes us pay a blue and tap it to discard a card from your hand to return a target creature to its owner's hand. So this is kind of a way to trigger the mana cost for the other one I was talking about. I think it was called Just the Win. I don't know why I struggled thinking of that name. We do have to go down in a card on our hand, but overall it's worth it for the bounce. We can get another Cascade trigger out of it. Winter Eldrin, pretty much when it ETBs, return up to 1 other creature to its owner's hand. That's always going to be ours. And then Word of Undoing just bounces a creature. It also returns any white enchantments on that creature to our hand, but we're not playing any of that, so that effect's never going to come up. And since we're all playing Voltron, let's go over the equipment. Pretty much we're playing all the equipment that's good enough, that's underneath for mana cost, because it's going to be able to be cascaded into. So Amphimorphous Axe, equipped creature gets +3/+0 and is every creature type. Army of Iorus gets whenever it's creature attacks, it gets a 1/1 counter. Pauper Commander? I definitely said that wrong. Creature gets +2/+2, but it can't block, but that's no big deal. Cranial Plating is a way to easily attach it on, and it gets +1/+0 for each other artifact you control, and since you're playing a lot of artifacts, and get pretty big pretty fast. Dredging Claw gives the creature +1/+0 and Menace, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield from a graveyard, it can attach Dredging Claw to it. That's never really going to happen, but it's a neat little effect. Executioner Hood gives the creature Intimidate, so it can only be blocked by artifact creatures or creatures that are color with it, so either blue or black creatures or artifact creatures in this case. Gold Vein Pick, whenever it deals combat damage, you get a treasure token, and it itself is a +1/+1. Golem Skin Gauntlet gives a creature +1/+0 for each equipment attached to it, which is going to be a lot. Leonin Scimitar gives a creature +1/+1, it's very basic. Skyblinder's Staff gives a creature +1/+0, and it can't be blocked with creatures with flying. So since our commander has flying, pretty much it's going to be blocked by creatures with reach with that case. Trailblazer Torch, ATPs, you get the initiative, that's why we're playing it even though it's a 4-drop, and when a creature becomes blocked, it deals 2 damage to each creature blocking it, so it makes it very hard to block, which is very wanted in Voltron. Rook Battle Thorns, a creature has trample and can't be blocked by more than one creature. It already has flying and it's already hard enough to block, so this makes it so you can't really block it enough, and then it has trample and it's going to be boosted up to a lot, so that's why we're running it. And then Volshock Morningstar, the creature just gets +2/+2. Of course, we're not always going to have our commander, so because of that, we kind of have backup Voltron if we have equipment on the field and we have mana to dump into it. So we have the Changing Out class, which can be blocked but also can't block. Dauthi Horror has Shadow, so it can only block and be blocked with creatures by Shadow. It also can be blocked by white creatures and added random extra bonus of protection. Deathcoat Rule just can't be blocked except by rogues. The Mill Infiltrator just can't be blocked. It also has Transmute if we need anything for 2 mana, so it could get us a pretty decent bit of our bounce spells if we ever need it in a pinch. Keymaster Rogue can't be blocked, and when it ETBs it also bounces a creature, so it helps us get our Cascade triggers again. Mistcloak Herald just can't be blocked. Phantom Mentor, another one can't be blocked, same with Phantom Warrior. Slither Blade can't be blocked, Skull Sculptor can't be blocked, and ETBs you bounce a card. And Torment Sword also can't be blocked, but also can't block. And that is the deck, so pretty much the backup Voltron is just things that can't be blocked to make it so that the equipment attached to them boosts them even more to do a bunch of unblockable damage. That is the deck. It's probably one of the weaker ones along this month of Pauper Commander, but it's a very fun deck because cascading is just very fun, and this is probably one of the better cascade cards you can run as a commander. There's definitely probably better ways you can build it, but this is the fun way to build it because what's more fun than Cascade Voltron? It's such a silly concept, I couldn't help myself. Hope you all enjoyed the deck. Like always, the deck list is in the description below if you want to get a direct link to it, as well as the link to a Discord where you can play a lot of Pauper Commander games with a lot of very cool people. Thank you all for watching. I've been JPEG, and I'll see you tomorrow.